What is a semisolid dosage form? It's a dermatological preparation applied externally for therapeutic, protective, and cosmetic, and they produce either local or systemic effect. Semisolid dosage form are a product of semisolid consistency and applied to skin or mucous membrane. They frequently consist of two phases, oil and water, the first of which is continuous and the second is dispersive. A three-phase system is frequently created by dissolving the active ingredient in either one or both phases. Example of semi-solid dosage form: ointment, paste, cream, gel, blisters, and rigid foam. Property for optimum semi-solid dosage form. Physical property: elegant and accepted appearance, smooth texture, non-hygroscopic, not greasy. Does not affect membrane function, non-irritating or cause allergy. Storage property: stable under storage condition, temperature that don't exceed 25 degrees, stored in a well-closed container. Also, it must be easily applicable and easily washable. Cream and ointment. What's the difference between them? In ointment, it's oil-based, while cream, it's water-based. In ointment, it's low absorption, while in cream, quick absorption. In ointment, longer time on the skin, while cream, shorter time on the skin. Thicker consistency for ointment, lighter for cream, greasier for ointment and less greasy for cream. Quality control test. First, physical appearance examination. Factor affecting physical appearance: incompatibility, backing, temperature. Check for cracking of emulsion, marked change in viscosity, microbial contamination, observation of granular appearance. Second, pH determination. The main goal is to measure pH to avoid irritation to the skin. Procedure: 1 gram of the sample is mixed with 9 ml of distilled water, and the pH of the mixture is measured using glass electrode instrument as shown in the figure.
Weight variation. The test will determine the weight variation among the semi-solid dosage forms. The procedure applies to products in which the labeled net weight is not more than 150 grams. Select filled containers, remove their label, then clean and weigh each container individually and calculate the total weight. Cut the lateral part of the container and remove its content, then clean the container and dry it to weigh the empty container. After that, calculate the weight content. The weight of content is calculated by the summation of the total weight from the weight of the empty container and calculate the average weight of content. The average weight of content is equal to the weight of the tin container divided by 10. About the acceptance criteria. First, the average net content of 10 containers should not be less than the labeled amount. Second, the net weight of the content of the single container should not be less than 90% of the labeled amount or not less than 95% of the labeled amount. And if the result not met therapeutic criteria, weight additional 20 containers and determine the average weight of 30 containers. The net average weight should not be less than the labeled amount and not more than 1 out of 30 of the content. Viscosity test. Viscosity measures the resistance of semisolid to flow at designated stability test time point, and at the time of the batch release, the apparent viscosity should be tested. Viscosity test is formulation and process dependent. The viscosity of typical preparation can be measured by using Brockfield viscometer, comb plate viscometer, carbon pop viscometer. About Brockfield viscometer, the preparations are rotated at different speeds and shear rates. At each speed, the corresponding dial reading is noted depending on the monograph. Consistency test. Determination of the penetration. Prepare 3 samples. A. Fill 3 containers carefully and completely without forming air bubbles to obtain a flat surface. B. Apply a suitable shear to the samples for 5 minutes, then carefully and completely fill 3 containers without forming air bubbles. C. Mill 3 samples, then carefully and completely fill the 3 containers without forming air bubbles. The procedure. Store the samples at 25 plus 0.5 degrees Celsius for 24 hours unless otherwise prescribed in the monograph. Place the sample in the pentometer VRT and make its surface perpendicular to the vertical axis of the penetrating object. Adjust the temperature of the penetrating object to 25 plus 0.5 degrees Celsius, then adjust its position by making the tip touches the surface of the sample. Release the penetrating object and hold it free for 5 seconds and count the penetration. Repeat the test with the 2 remaining containers. The results. Take the mean of the 3 measurements, and if any of the individual results differ from the mean by more than 3%, repeat the test for 6 measurements.
Solubility test. The preparation should be miscible with alcohol, ether, and chloroform, and should be soluble in a 9 part of a water and 1.7 part of a hot water. Skin irritation test. It is carried out on the skin and the eye of the rabbits. 1. The rabbit skin is shaved to remove a hair. 2. Apply 1 gram of a test substance on each test set. 3. Observe it for development of arrhythmia, redness, and edema and swelling. Accelerated stability. A series of tests intended to determine a pharmaceutical product stability in order to establish its shelf life and utilization period under specific packaging and storage condition. Preparations are subjected to a high stresses including temperature, humidity, and light. Sterility test. It is a testing procedure applied to a product intended to be sterile before a marketing to check that this product are free from all living microorganisms. There are 2 recommended methods of sterility testing for pharmaceutical. 1. Membrane filtration. 2. Direct inoculation. Membrane filtration. Membrane filtration is the most widely used method in industry. It is involved pressure or a vacuum filtration of the test product solution through a sterile filtration fitted with a filter membrane. Method of membrane filtration. First, the water passes through the filter. Second, the filter is placed on the surface of a growth medium, example endo-agar. Third, count colonies. Direct inoculation. A small volume of a sample is removed from the sample unit and inoculated directly into stable volume of the growth medium before incubation, and this does not require a membrane filter unit. To use this method, it must be first demonstrated the product solution itself does not inhibit growth of typical microorganism. This method, not theoretically complex, requires technical precision and aseptic manipulation techniques for the proper execution. As a consequence of a repetitive motion in folding, it is prone to human error.
Spreadability test. Spreadability is the ease with which a product can be spread. Factors affecting formulation characteristics such as viscosity, elasticity, and rheology, size of application, temperature, rate, and the time of shear. There is 3 methods for measuring spreadability: parallel plate method, subjective assessment, master curve method.
Parallel plate method is the most common method, simple, economical, and time effective. As shown in the figure, the test sample of certain mass is placed on a fixed glass plate, which is covered on the top with another movable glass plate and sliding by means of a pulley. Weights are placed to the pan to allow the glass plate to slide the movable glass plate. The spreadability is measured by the time taken of the two plates to slip off from the sample. Quality control of eye ointments. Special test in eye ointment is to ensure that the product is free from metal particles. First step, extrude the contents of 10 tubes separately. 60 mm petri dishes that are free from scratches. Cover the dishes and heat at 85 for 2 hours. If required, slightly raise the temperature to ensure that a fully fluid state is obtained. Then gently invert the petri dish on the stage of a suitable microscope adjusted to furnish 30 times. Additional to the usual source of light, direct an illuminator from above the ointment at a 45 angle. Examine the entire bottom of the petri dish for metal particles. After that, count the numbers of metal particles that are 50 micrometer or larger in any dimension. The requirements are met if the total number of such particles in all the 10 tube doesn't exceed 50, and not more than one tube is found to contain more than 8 such particles. If these results are not obtained, repeat the test on 20 additional tubes. The requirements are met if the total number of metal particles that are 50 micrometer or larger in any dimension doesn't exceed 150 in all the 30 tubes tested, and if not more than 3 of the tubes are found to contain more than 8 such particles each. Another test of an eye ointment is the eye irritation test, which is improved in vitro non-animal test method for identifying chemicals and mixtures that may be irritating to the corneal epithelium. Procedure: known amount of the test sample is placed in one eye of 6 rabbits. The other eye remains untreated, serving as a control. The eye are examined at 24, 48, and 72 hours for ocular reaction. Criteria: the test is positive if there is ulceration, inflammation of the iris, swelling of the conjunctiva. A substance is an eye irritant if 4 of 6 rabbits are positive, and considered non-irritant if none or only one of the 6 rabbits exhibit irritation. At the end, topical semisolid products are one of the fastest growing product markets globally. Ensuring the quality and performance of these products required well thought out design in manufacturing and process.